if Russia invades, there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
All right, we get more promises here from President Biden after meeting with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz yesterday. Both announced a united approach against Russian aggression toward Ukraine, but Scholz never actually mentioned that the Nord Stream 2 pipeline would or could be halted. Joining me right now is New York Congressman and House Homeland Security Committee ranking member John Katko. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What are your thoughts on how this standoff plays out? We just had General Jack Keane on the show, and he said that no, Germany and the U.S. are not united on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Do you think President Biden can do what he's actually promising to shut down Nord Stream should Russia invade Ukraine?
Well, if Germany and the United States were united on the Nord Stream pipeline issue, the Chancellor had an opportunity to say that yesterday with the President, and he didn't. And that speaks volumes for, again, the lack of cohesiveness with Biden's foreign policy. He's not projecting strength, and Putin is exploiting that. He didn't project strength with Afghanistan, and he didn't project strength with the Iran nuclear deal, which he's begging Iran to come back into. He's not projecting strength with China or Russia with their massive cyber attacks against us. So this is symptomatic of a larger problem. There's no strength, and the bad guys are exploiting it. And Putin, make no mistake about it, is a bad guy.
Well, you are the ranking member on Homeland Security, and I want to get your take on the impact on America. I spoke with Senator Ted Cruz on Sunday about Putin's plans for Ukraine. Listen to how he sees it. Watch.
I think Putin, it is likely he will invade within a month. His objective is to reassemble the old Soviet Union, which would be incredibly dangerous for the United States. And, Maria, all of this is happening because Joe Biden has shown Putin weakness and appeasement. He has capitulated to enemies across the globe. He gave Afghanistan to the Taliban. He's trying to give Ukraine to Russia, and he's on the way to giving Taiwan to the Chinese communists.
So do you see it that way, Congressman, that Putin is trying to recreate the Soviet Union? What are the implications for America?
Well, even if he's thinking about it, that means we're now projecting strength, because if we don't have the deterrence for Europe, and we're not united with Western Europe, we're not united with our allies, and we're not projecting the strength from the United States, he may indeed think that. And that's a problem for us. So I agree with his fundamental premise that this is what Putin is probably thinking of. And we are empowering him by showing weakness. And make no mistake about it. Think about the Iran nuclear deal when Biden was a point person for that. They were basically begging Iran to come into the deal. And then they gave him $150 billion in assets, some of which is shipped over on pallets of money to Iran, the largest sponsor of state terrorism. That was a signal then, and it's a signal now that he's weak on foreign policy, and he thinks he can give everybody a hug and everything's going to be okay. Well, that's not how it works in the world. Strength begets strength. I knew that from when I was a prosecutor.
I'm glad you mentioned Iran, because it's moving markets today. You say that he wanted to do a deal. Well, now there are rumors in the market that the resumption of an Iranian nuclear deal is going to happen, and it could be imminent. What can you tell us about that? And then I've got to get your take as the representative in New York, what the wide open border has meant to New York.
Oh, sure. Well, first thing, with respect to the Iran nuclear deal, it sounds like they're bending over backwards for the largest sponsor of state terrorism in the world, Iran, to basically begging them to get back into the nuclear deal. That is not strength, and that is, bad guys see that. What do you think Xi is thinking right now when he's trying to decide whether he's going to have the guts to go and invade Taiwan? He's looking at us saying, well, we won't have to worry about the U.S. because they're not going to do anything, and that's a real concern. Now, with respect to New York, we're very concerned about what's going on in New York, and we're going to deal with that issue going forward as well. And especially with respect to drugs. I mean, if you look at the fentanyl issue, it's killing our kids. And what's coming across the border makes every city and every town a border town because of what's going on at the border.
Yeah, how come we haven't heard President Biden mention fentanyl once?
Because what's his answer to it? Fentanyl seizures are up dramatically. We've had close to enough seizures, which means there's that much more getting across. Enough seizures of fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in the United States 7 times over. What's he going to say? It's the first time in our nation's history where more than 100,000 people have died of drug overdoses, and they got to lay that issue right at his feet because he's letting those drugs pour across the border.
Yeah, fentanyl now the #1 killer of 18 to 45-year-olds. Just extraordinary.
Exactly.
Congressman, thanks very much for joining us this morning. John Katko in D.C.
Anytime.
We'll keep following all of that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.